Welcome, STEMgineers, to STEM to Stern, the podcast where curiosity meets critical thinking. Join Chauntée and Jake as they discuss STEM topics that spark debate and exploration.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to STEM to Stern. This is Jake.
This is Chauntée.
And we are here to talk about terraforming other planets.
Like Mars or other planets out there. I mean, Mars is our primary candidate, right?
Not Venus?
Yeah. Venus would be difficult because it already has this like super thick, hot atmosphere. But like Mars, you could work with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of big challenges that come with that. First off, Mars, as it is right now, has a very, very thin atmosphere, much thinner than Earth's, and most of it's carbon dioxide. And that's not good for us. That doesn't work for us.
It's not a great breathing room.
Yeah.
You know.
So, like, there's certain ways that scientists have thought about how we could pump, like, nitrogen and oxygen gas into the atmosphere of Mars to make it more preferable to our way of living. That way we could go out on Mars and not have to wear spacesuits. So, really, at the end of the day, terraforming a planet is a whole different question than colonizing it.
So tell me the difference.
So if you colonize a planet, that means that you could have a bunch of like enclosed structures, buildings on the surface of Mars, and we could have cities on Mars. But that's not the same as you being able to walk out and be like without a spacesuit and just kind of go for a walk on Mars out in the open. So we already talked about the terraforming the atmosphere of a planet like Mars. Another thing you have to consider is radiation.
Oh.
So one of the things that protects us big time on Earth is our magnetosphere. And that comes from the fact that the core of the Earth is molten. And so it produces this dynamo effect, and we get this magnetic shield around our planet. And that protects us from solar radiation, cosmic rays. And unfortunately, that is not a thing on Mars. Because Mars is no longer geologically active. Its core is all cooled off and solidified. So we'd have to find a way to protect ourselves from radiation on the surface of Mars as well.
So I feel like possibly one way to start or do the most research is trying to recreate that here.
Yeah, certainly.
Would that be a thing? I mean, I'm assuming that, I know they have done some things to kind of help with people adjusting to going to space by recreating that type of element. But I was just curious about that environment and if we could recreate it here to try to figure out the best way to handle it.
I mean, it would be hard. Like, you could do it inside of a lab, but, like, changing Earth's atmosphere here, like, that'd be a little dangerous.
No.
Might not want to do that.
I don't mean that. I do mean, like, in a lab, in an environment, like a contained environment that they're doing the research in to recreate what it's like there to help solve how to get where we can terraform it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure there's many different ways that we could go about that. But regardless, like the process of terraforming a planet would take hundreds, if not thousands of years. I mean, it would take a really, really long time to do it. So maybe for now, we should just focus on colonizing Mars. And then if we want to make it habitable without a spacesuit, then that's another project we can take on.
Yeah.
But it certainly is possible. It's something to think about is with the climate change that we're dealing with, our activities on the Earth have changed the atmosphere of our planet. And so, in a way, that's kind of an unfortunate proof of concept that we could theoretically change the atmosphere on another planet as well, but for the good.
Right, for a good purpose. I was going to say, if you were born and raised on Mars, hypothetically, right, and it was not terraformed, so you were used to wearing a space suit, right? And that's where you spent all your life. And then you visited Earth. Would you be like Buzz Lightyear when someone opened up your helmet? You're like, you think you can't breathe? You're having a panic attack? That feels like something that would be. Immediately I thought of that. So
that is true. People talk about the first generation of kids to grow up on Mars, that their parents are probably alive today, which would be really cool to see that happen.
That would be amazing.
Let us know what you think. Do you think that we could possibly terraform Mars or some of the other planets or moons within our solar system, or even outside of it one day? And also check out the show notes for more information on this topic.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Until next time, and keep STEMifying your world.
Thanks for tuning in to STEM to Stern. We hope today's episode got you thinking. If you enjoyed the discussion, subscribe and share it with others. And be sure to check out our show notes for free resources and links that go along with today's episode. Until next time, keep questioning and keep exploring, STEM-gineers.